Chiefs Kingdom, welcome in to the AP Film Room. We are back in action on the YouTube page, the Arrowhead Pride YouTube page. If you were following along with the Arrowhead Pride coverage last season, you may have been watching us on a weekly basis towards the end of the year. Come into the room, come in here, us three, and look at some Chiefs film, and we're going to continue doing that this year because that's what we love to do. My name is Ron Kopp Jr. I'm the lead analyst at arrowheadpride.com. And just like last year, I'm joined by two of my best buds. We got Bryan Stewart, we got Talon Graff, two of my best football buddies. Guys, we're back. The season is here. No more waiting. We got real football this week, and we're here to talk about it. Talon, I'll start with you, man. What's going on?
Man, excited. It feels like football is a year-round sport nowadays, but the last few weeks or month and a half, training camp, we had preseason. It's just been ramping up, and the excitement's been building, and now we're here. We're just mere days away from Cardinals and Chiefs, and dude, that's actually a really fun matchup. Like when you think about it, like the ties between Cliff and Patrick, and then the similarities between Kyler's playmaking abilities and Patrick's playmaking abilities. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this season. It's going to be a fun one, different one, but a fun one.
Yeah, man. You mentioned the matchup. You talk about Carlos Dunlap. Playing for Seattle last couple of years. He's kind of been wrecking them a little bit in Arizona too. So there's something about that matchup for sure. Going to be exciting on Sunday. Bryan, how are you, my friend?
Great. And I'm actually appreciating that Talon made that point because I feel like as the weeks have gone on, I've let this Arizona game kind of. I don't know. I haven't took it super seriously. I feel like they, as an opponent, don't look as good as they did when the schedule dropped back in April. But there are some really good storylines involved with it, and they definitely could make a game of it. They have plenty of firepower, and there is that Kingsbury factor. They always start good, and then by the end of the year, it goes to hell. But, in that way, it's like I've even kind of thought that I was more excited for the Chargers and Raiders game, even though I won't be able to watch it, just because, it's easy to look forward to the other opponents on the Chiefs schedule, like the Thursday nighter next week. But this will be a good one. And tonight, I'm just really excited to talk about these rookies. These rookies, guys, we know, and those who have been reading the site, like this looks like another really, really strong class stacked together. And we're going to show you some reasons why we feel that way.
Yes, sir. Yes. Good lead into the show today. We got no game to film, or no game to review, right? It's before week one. So, we're just going to dive into a little bit and just kind of touch on the rookies we saw in the preseason, the guys that we were first seeing in Chiefs uniforms. Three of the biggest names in the rookie class, although there's so many big names, right? It's hard to pick three of them out, but we are going to be looking at Skyy Moore. We're going to be looking at Bryan Cook. And then I'm going to finish with George Karlaftis. So kind of just a quick intro to the players that are going to be playing the Chiefs uniform for the next 4 years. So, Bryan, you got Skyy, man. If you want to take on over and see what you got and kind of show the people what we should expect from Skyy Moore this year.
Yeah, so we're going to jump right in. Skyy, honestly, man, he's exceeded my expectations so far. I didn't expect anything really in year one, and now it's gradually getting to the point where I wonder just how big of a role and important a role he can have. And I'll be asking you guys about that a little bit later on when this is done. But so here I talked about it on Twitter. This is just a couple plays stacked together where Skyy is showing the ability to win from different alignments. He's showing the ability to win in different ways. So this first play here, going to highlight, you'll see him at the top of the screen. He's got a cornerback pressed up on him, and he's just going to go. And one of the things that he came out of school with was a really good 10-yard split at the combine. One of the best, like 97th, 99th percentile. It was something of that level. And he kind of shows, along with that release ability, I think watching training camp clips, his release might be the thing that stands out above all as far as, what's going to translate to the NFL immediately. And you'll see this corner. I don't know who this is. I don't know if he made the Bears roster at this point, but still yet Moore does what he's supposed to do and just absolutely cooks him. And, I don't exactly. I believe that's Bichelle in there.
Yeah.
Why he didn't give Skyy a chance there, I'm not sure. I think maybe this was a predetermined type of play where he was just kind of content to take the matchup with the running back. But that's a situation where I think Mahomes is giving him a chance and putting that ball out front, and who knows from there. But the point is, he can win that way. And then the next play, it's a 3rd and 6, and he's aligned here in the slot. So key thing there, 3rd and 6, they need somebody to be tough, somebody to make a play. This time he does go to Moore on this slant route, and he's going to show toughness. He's going to show the ability to use his hands, be strong. Okay, takes on a pretty significant blow over the middle of the field, but he holds on, and it ends up being a first down. Gets torpedoed. Okay, all this together, I would say the point is, this is a player who is doing things already that a lot of veteran receivers you never see combine all these skills. I don't want to take a shot at this player, but just to kind of, put an idea in your mind of another receiver, Mecole Hardman. I don't know that we can say Mecole Hardman, especially in his rookie year, was able to do both of these things, win in the vertical plane downfield, but then also be a tough, over the middle of the field, convert a 3rd and 6 type of player. I don't know that that's something that you commonly find. And so it's a reason I think to be excited about Moore. And then second play I want to look at here. This was his highlight of all on that particular day. You'll see Moore this time aligned here at the bottom of the numbers. Now the cornerback, he starts to back off here just before the snap, and Moore, he's going to stem his route gradually to the point where he's actually on top of the numbers. Okay, so he's gradually working in, and just to kind of give himself some more room to work out here towards the sideline. It works. That cornerback, he's taught to kind of match his path, and so he naturally goes in towards the middle of field too. Moore gets more space. When I watched this play live, I did not think he was in bounds. I actually didn't even think it was close.
Right.
I don't know. It was just weird. Like, it didn't look live like it was even disputable. But then you slow it down and the replay, and it was just like picture, framework, what you want to see a guy do on the sideline. And a rookie, no less, who's coming from college where he didn't have to get both feet in order to complete catch. But, he kind of said, I think maybe even after that game, that's just something that he always worked on and tried to make a point of in college, because this is something he expected to be doing. He expected to be playing in the NFL. And again, I want to point out, using strong hands. His hands are huge, and he's plucking that ball out of the air. For a small guy, that's going to be really important, because he's not got the frame to just body dudes up. So he needs to make the most out of his catch radius. And on this play, he does that. So just a couple of plays there. And, where I would go from here is just ask you guys, like, what do you think Moore does this year? Is he going to be super productive? Because he clearly has veterans in front of him who are going to eat up more of the snaps. But they're also finding, they're trying to find ways to get him the ball. And so that way it's going to be really exciting. What does his output look like halfway through the season and at the end of the season?
Yeah, it seems like right away, and the preseason showed it, man. I do think he's going to be someone that takes advantage of being the 3rd or 4th option, right? Someone that, and these plays are actually going to show it here. The safety is turned away from Moore on these reps, right? Because the play is designed to go elsewhere, and Moore is maybe these vertical routes. This play shows it as well at the top of the screen. Taking advantage of that free space that comes with the safety's attention elsewhere. I think he's definitely going to be a guy that takes advantage of those plays. And then this was also, you mentioned the nice release, man. This is what showed it, and I'll back up here on this one. This is what showed it pretty well at the bottom of the screen. Another good rep, just like the one you showed against the Bears. So, yeah, Talon. I don't know, man. How excited are you for Skyy Moore? What are you thinking about this year?
Yeah, he is far more pro ready than I gave him credit for. And the fact that he does those finer things so well, it allows him to learn the playbook faster, because coaches don't have to necessarily take extra time to teach him those things because he already does them so well. They may need to polish something here and there. But, man, that's so valuable for a younger guy to have those things polished up like that because, like I said, it gives you more time to learn the playbook. It gives you more time to take practice reps, like meaningful reps that are game-related, not necessarily just trying to teach you fundamentals of football. So, yeah, I think we're going to see him progress more and more into the offense. So I think by, playoff time, he could definitely be a solid, 3 in this offense behind Juju and Travis. That wouldn't shock me at all. Maybe a 600-700 yard total season at the end of the year. So I'm definitely excited, much more excited than I thought I would be. And man, he's turning into to be a really good choice.
It sure seems like it. And again, we'll temper our expectations as, he is going to be maybe the 3rd, 4th, 5th option right away. But again, the long season, we got a long time to go. Another guy that might not be, the top option right away. But we'll see some good things from him, I got to believe, from a guy like safety Bryan Cook. It seems like he's running as that 3rd safety right now with the defense. Talon, I'll throw it to you. If you got videos or you want me to throw up the video, because I can throw it up. I actually got it up right here.
Yeah, go ahead, Ron. Thanks, I appreciate it. So,
yes, sir.
Yeah, Bryan Cook, the 3rd round safety from Cincinnati. He's obviously going to be a rotational player to start off with. Juan Thornhill and Justin Reed have those 2 safety spots locked down, I would say. But future-wise, Juan Thornhill is not locked into a long-term contract, and Bryan Cook could easily be that 2nd starting safety next season. And similar to Skyy Moore's progression, that I think we're going to see him play more and more. Same with Bryan Cook. And this is why, man, you see he's such a playmaker around the entire field. And here, this is not a great pass from Jordan Love. It sails a little bit. It's triple cover. But, man, Bryan Cook makes a play on the ball. And look at his return ability. You don't see this a lot necessarily from safeties and a thumper reputation that he has when you think of him as a box type of guy. But, man, you see him make a play like this in the air, and then he turns on the jets and looks like a Deshaun Jackson all of a sudden in the open field. Man, it's exciting to see, and just having that ability to make a play like that as such a young guy, and he's not afraid to put himself out there as a playmaker. It's exciting to see. And then this other play I want to show here is kind of the opposite. It's a play around the line of scrimmage, and something that we know Steve Spagnuolo likes to do is put his defensive backs around the line of scrimmage and use them in kind of particular ways. And here we see Bryan Cook coming off of the edge on a blitz, and no, he doesn't get to the quarterback, but he does affect the play. He gets his hands up, and I can't guarantee he actually made contact on this ball, but it sure looks like he got something on it, maybe a fingernail or a glove nylon, who knows. But regardless, the play ends in an incomplete and a positive play for the defense, and Bryan Cook has a lot to do with that. And just his instincts, man. A lot of kids, and this moment might be too big for them. Chasing down a quarterback preseason game, it's possible roster spot on line. But Bryan Cook is it doesn't seem like any moment's too big for him. And here he makes a play. He's a natural playmaker, and I'm excited to see him develop in this defense. And man, Juan Thornhill and Justin Reed are 2 really good starters. So for Bryan Cook to be this good as a depth player, it's just going to help this secondary who's very young.
Yeah, and here's another view of the Cook tip. I think he did get his hand on that. You got to give him that. You got to give him that talent. We'll give him that. He got his hand on that. No, and the thing about Cook that stands out on all these plays, whether he's tackling it way downfield, whether he's around the line of scrimmage, another one here where he's around the ball at the very end there, taking on the line of scrimmage. He embodies that strong safety, box safety thing, and I think we all knew that coming out of the draft. But then what's interesting is the plays he's on the field in the dime defense. It does seem to be that they're trusting Justin Reed in those roles, right? To be more in the box, and Cook has actually been playing more back. And here's that interception again, showing what he can do back there, right? So he is more versatile maybe than a lot of people wanted to give him credit for right away. I think he was cornered in as a safety, a strong safety, pretty much right when he was drafted. But he might just be a little bit of everything, right? Bryan, are you excited about Bryan Cook in any particular way this season?
Yeah, and it's really the safety group as a whole, kind of like you're alluding to there. Spagnuolo, he's had Tyrann Mathieu, and we know how he's used him, kind of just letting him freelance a little bit and just be instinctive. He doesn't have that guy anymore. So I think the evolution of things will be he's got 3 safeties that he's going to let do a little bit of everything. I think any of those 3 main safeties can play in the box if they're asked to. I think they all 3 can blitz if they're asked to. They can cover the deep half. I don't know about single high yet. We need to see that from Cook, but maybe even do that. And it's like that could be, like I said, the next step in just being very hard for quarterbacks to figure out when they don't really know where to find these safeties and where they're going to be lined up or what they're going to be doing.
So yeah, no, I think I'm with you because that's the thing. Justin Reid is his entire career. I mean, like he's always pretty much been like, to me at least, he's played everywhere, right? Every safety in today's NFL has to play a little bit of everywhere, but he's always been primarily a free safety. And then you have someone like Cook who seems to be a pretty much a strong safety. But they kind of, I don't know, it seems to be they're interchanging quite a bit. And again, like in the preseason reps, they trust Reid closer to the line of scrimmage. It seems like maybe because that's more of a, maybe it's an easier role to be in the back end, right away. While that dime safety, there's a lot going on in the box, maybe on a third down, you have to blitz, you have to cover a tight end and man, or you might be in a short zone. So maybe that's why that veteran, maybe that's why Spags wants to maybe keep with someone that, has been around a little longer. But any final thoughts on Talon, Bryan, any final thoughts on Bryan Cook, Talon, the guy you're highlighting? I don't know. Just do you see him any chance he takes over for Thornhill as soon as this year?
Man, I don't know. Thornhill's been playing good too, so I mean, unless Thornhill just starts to drop off, I don't know why they would play Cook unless they just don't plan on signing him long term. But no, I mean, for me personally, I think that's Thornhill's job to lose. But I think Cook's going to be on the field for quite a bit. Yeah,
I agree. And we know those third down packages are something that Spags likes to use, right? I mean, it's something he'll definitely be involved in. So we'll see quite a bit of him.
I've noticed too in like the last week or two, like it feels like Thornhill is really taking on this leadership thing. Whereas I think we thought, hey, it's definitely going to be Justin Reid coming in. He's the signing, but like there's been some rumors and things in the news even about how they're really excited about the way Juan is kind of just taking over. And heck, if it's 2 guys, that's fine. But point being, I think Juan might hopefully get back to his rookie form this year.
Yeah, you mentioned that. It definitely seems like the team is hyping up Thornhill, right? It definitely, I heard Spags in training camp. There was a specific press conference where they asked about Justin Reid, and Spags completely ignored Reid and was just like, "Well, I want to talk about Juan Thornhill." And started talking about Juan Thornhill. So, there is something to that. Absolutely. So it's good to see. But we're going to finish here today with maybe the rookie with, the most opportunity to really, impact the team, I think, honestly, in terms of, I guess, who we've talked about today, at least. That's George Karlaftis, the defensive end. We've seen some good things from this preseason. I'm going to let this run for a second before getting to this play I want to show. But the thing that's really impressed me about Karlaftis, and this is where it shows up first in the first game, he is a lot more technical, a lot more just sound in his technique, a lot more than I would have given him credit for before I saw him in training camp, before I saw him in this preseason. It's not necessarily that you didn't see that in the Big Ten at Purdue, but you kind of, it's easy to corner him into the role of, okay, he's a relentless dude, he's got a high motor, but maybe a little reckless, maybe a little erratic, but man, he is very technical with what he does. And this is a very good sign of his patience and kind of thinking through what he wants to do. He's trying out this move right here, right? He works upfield, wanting the tackle to kind of come with him, on a speed rush, right? He's working speed to power, but I just love his hand placement here, where he puts that long arm on that pad and really just look at the leverage he gets from his lower half on that, and just kind of just turning it into basically a leg press or I should say a sled push, right? Just the way he kind of puts his body in the right position. There's another clip of that, later in here as well against the Packers. That's going to be that one. Where you just see this one isn't the same thing, but it's just his hand placement, just how he kind of uses that hand as like a way to kind of pry his way around, and just how clean he is coming off of that, right? How explosive he is coming off of that. It's one thing to get your hand over that, and then kind of just be in that position, but maybe not work your way through the block into the quarterback. But he's kind of putting it all together, and it looks like he's going through practice a lot of these times. It looks like it's like a drill. It's like a dummy. Like he like the coach is right there telling him where to put his hands and And there's another great example of it too. Just kind of working that quick movement and then just using that leverage of his arm to just follow all the way through instead of just getting over the arm, allowing it to push himself to the play. Here he just relentless works off the double team. That's just a good showing of that. But the relentlessness here is just the cherry on top of all that. That's going to happen. That's what's going to get him maybe 5-6 sacks this year, right? Is something like that. Another play here where he's making a great play on the backside of a run. That's where as someone that we all kind of maybe, and I was guilty of it too, maybe called him a little bit of a boring pick. He's gonna play kind of boring, but it's in the fun kind of boring in terms of he's pretty technical sound, and he's not maybe going to be as volatile or maybe like up and down as you think. He's going to be a rookie, right? And so there's going to be some learning curves, but man, I think he set himself up with a good preseason to really prove to be maybe the guy that gets the most snaps of the defensive ends this year. I don't know, guys, when you looked at Karlaftis this preseason and Talon, I'll start with you. Just what did you think about what you saw from him and maybe what you thought about him compared to before?
Yeah, man, this is what I thought not necessarily the production level maybe, but I knew what we were getting in terms of this guy is a fundamentally sound. He's going to come in and give us a motor and give us a work ethic, and he's going to put in work. But yeah, production wise, man, he has been off the charts in terms of what I kind of thought we'd see. I thought we'd see kind of a slower progression with him as well. I thought we'd see a lot of Frank Clark and stuff, but man, Karlaftis has been really showing out and I'm excited about his hands. You mentioned it, but yeah, his active hands with his little to no wasted motion at all.
Right.
He's so good in that phone booth, man. He makes it, I don't know how he is so mobile in a short space, but he does it. And yeah, man, he's someone I'm very excited about. I think he's going to be a game changer for this defense. And yeah, I mean, I remember, yeah, he was our boring pick, but that doesn't necessarily mean he was a bad pick, because he's definitely already having an effect, and he's built up some really good momentum in this preseason. And I think he's really set himself up to have a nice rookie year.
Bryan, when you saw Karlaftis this preseason, you get more excited than you already were, or were you kind of like Talon, where it's kind of what you maybe expected for the most part? Obviously, a little, it's obviously a little more than we all expected, but what were your thoughts on Karlaftis?
More excited for sure. I was one of those, like, I can kind of take a lump here. I feel like I let the pre-draft narrative even persuade my opinion a little bit, to where I was just kind of like, if the Chiefs take him, I understand why, but it's boring, and I was worried about the upside. And let me just put it this way. Do you guys, either of you, just real quick, know who was the last Chief that won the Rookie of the Year, the NFL Rookie of the Year award?
Ooh.
Defense or offense, or any of them?
Any of them.
Man, that's a good question. Was it Barry Ward?
It was defense.
It's actually. DT, isn't it? It's DT, isn't it? Derek Thomas.
Peters.
Oh my
Marcus
gosh.
Peters.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of a sore subject, but I say that because I think there's a good shot that this guy's going to be that. And it's not that he's the best defensive lineman in the draft class. I wouldn't say that. I think Hutchinson probably, would for sure be that guy, but the opportunity is going to be there. The narratives, the setup is in place. We saw 2 sacks in, I don't know, not even probably the equivalent, maybe the equivalent of one game. Not that that's what you can expect, by no means, but it just goes to show that he can get the quarterback to the ground. And I think the rotational depth is actually going to help him. I don't think it would be a good thing if he was playing 80, 90% of the snaps like some defensive ends will. Hutchinson very well might. No, I think it'll help being able to rotate through, be fresh, and be the guy that he is, which is relentless, and he's going to have his fair share of effort sacks. if you string together 7, 8, 9 sacks and you're on a really good team, possibly the best defensive end on that team, I think it's gonna be there for him. And right now, that's what I'm expecting. I think he's gonna pull it off.
Yeah, no, and you're right about the rotation thing. I think Karlaftis has a chance to lead the team in snaps because I just think he might be the most fresh and obviously has the energy. But it's not because he's gonna be playing 80 to 90 snaps, right? It's gonna be such a healthy rotation. But I really think that at some point they may want Karlaftis to be the guy in there the most out of all of them, in terms of run defender and a pass defender. So. Yeah, those are the 3 rookies we wanted to look at today. Final thoughts, guys, on these 3 rookies. And are there any other rookies you want to shout out real quick? I know there's so many of them. Were there any guys that you kind of were really wanting to look at and maybe they just missed the cut? What are you thinking, Talon? I know you had a couple.
No, yeah. I mean, Joshua Williams has been just the guy I've been watching all preseason, and he's been so close to making so many plays, but I don't know. He's been frustrating, but I'm excited to see what he becomes down the road. I just think it's going to be bumpy getting there. But dude, he's just one of those guys. I'm excited about him.
I'm with you. I think it's cool that we got that first training camp hype, but I do think it's going to be a long, it's going to be a process for him, like it should be. He's a guy from D2, but we'll definitely be looking at him as the season goes when he gets a little time. Bryan, what about you?
Yeah, at first I would have jumped on the corners, Williams and Watson, and
right.
With Williams, it'll be cool to see, like, can they find maybe just a niche role for now? Can he be the player who, hey, we need you to press this long, lanky receiver this week. Can you just give us 20 snaps of doing that or what have you? But I guess I'll go with Pacheco. He's it's easy to forget about. It's a running back, but the way people talk about him and the way the reports are, you almost feel like you should expect big things. And if not, I feel bad for the kid because it's kind of set up to fail, if he doesn't have this super productive season, which people need to be realistic. It's Clyde's job still. And hopefully Pacheco will just add something with his speed. That speed we know was sorely missed last year. And I think if nothing else, he's going to break off some explosive plays for them from time to time.
Yeah, I have a feeling we will be talking about Pacheco on this show sooner than later, with maybe the run game coming alive because of his ability over a guy like Clyde's. But no one giving McDuffie any love. Trent McDuffie, the first round cornerback, the first pick. He's a guy that's kind of been quiet this preseason, but the couple times you did see him, it was him flying up to the flat, right, and making a nice strong tackle. So that's kind of good to see. He was a guy that's kind of known as for his coverage more than his kind of ability in that sense. But Spags wants that, and that's why he's starting on this defense. So it'll be interesting, man. We got a lot of rookies to look at. We're going to look at them every week, along with just what else we see from each game as we go. This is the AP Film Room. We're going to keep coming at you on the YouTube page. Please like and subscribe if you can. If you will, for us, please do it. We're going to keep coming with some good content and enjoy this Chiefs season, guys. We got a long one coming up, and we're going to take it 1 week at a time. We'll be right back here next week, breaking down what hopefully is a Chiefs-Cardinals or a Chiefs win over the Cardinals, I should say. We're hoping so, and then getting ready for the Chargers Thursday night, quick turnaround. But until then, for Talon, for Bryan, my name is Ron. Appreciate you guys watching, and we will catch you next time.